When realtors should not list a distressed home. Hey there, this is Jonathan here with Project Homeowner Rescue. If you work with distressed homeowners, you feel the urgency. The phone rings, the sale date looms, and you want to help fast. The thing is, speed without clarity can hurt the homeowner and your license. Today, you'll get a simple checklist of red flags that mean you should not list. I'll also show safer alternatives that protect the client, reduce complaints, and keep your E&O clean. There's one call that shields you from most problems, and that's coming up. First, let's talk about why list first, figure it out later usually backfires, and how to read the situation before you touch a listing agreement. Let's be clear about this. The pressure in today's market isn't rotten loans. It's affordability stress. Insurance hikes, taxes, HOA assessments. Just take a look at Surfside, Miami Beach. People are stretched thin, not scammed by exotic mortgages. That means your job shifts from find a buyer to diagnose situation. If you skip diagnosis, you risk harm, complaints, exposing your E&O, and a reputation hit that you just can't undo. Here's the thing most agents miss. The servicer's timeline controls everything. If loss mitigation is active, your listing can actually derail a loss mitigation review. If a sale date is set, the MLS doesn't stop the foreclosure clock. And underneath all of that is the homeowner's true goal: to either stay, sell, or stall the process. And you must surface that goal. You just can't assume it. So what changes now, right? You can't rely on comps and a net sheet by themselves. You need a quick discovery conversation documented in plain language. You need to ask 3 questions and confirm this in writing. Homeowner, do you want to keep the home if the payment becomes affordable? What letters have you received? A demand letter, acceleration letter, the sale date letter? Have you applied for assistance? Have you applied for loan modification? Have you applied for forbearance? Have you applied and asked for a short sale? This allows you to do what we call paperwork triage. You can ask for the latest mortgage statement, ask for any letters from the lender, and you can go ahead and help the homeowner or ask from the homeowner a simple hardship summary in their own words. Right? If there's an HOA, you got to get in contact with the HOA as soon as possible. If there's a second mortgage or a HELOC, you got to take note of that. Your goal isn't to build a file, it's to see where the landmines are before you step. Here's a simple mental model. Map before you move. People try to drive at night without headlights when they list blind. Don't do this. You need timeline, you need math, you need authority. Timeline tells you if loss mitigation or a sale date controls the pace. The math tells you if equity is real after the liens, after the fees, after the arrears. Authority tells you who can sign. Is it the homeowner? Is it the PR and the probate, the personal representative? Is it the court-appointed party? Here's a preview of where we're going. The red flags. These include solicitation timing that crosses ethical lines, equity illusions created by the missing payoffs, title traps, probate, divorce, or unrecorded interest. What do I mean by that? I have worked with a homeowner who thought he only had the first priority mortgage as his main debt, right? That he only owed to the loan servicer. It was we were communicating with SPS at the time. Well, as months went on, we discovered not only did he owe to SPS, but he had a second lien holder. The initial loan was for $50,000, and as years went on, it ballooned. But we were able to negotiate that down to $40,000. We discovered that he had a PACE loan on the property. He did a re-roof, and he used a government program in order to get that re-roof done and paid for. He had a lien with the city that reached up to $180,000 that we had to help bring into compliance and negotiate the lien down to a reduced amount of 10%. I feel like I'm missing something here, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Some homeowners will tell you that, this is what they have, but as you go on, you see their equity kind of diminishing in real time when you factor in all the other things that you have to consider. So now let's draw the hard line you must not cross. 6 red flags when not to list the property. Red flag number 1, active loss mitigation or forbearance that's already in progress. This is important because the listing can actually, during an active review, derail that application, and it can create what's called dual tracking, where the loan servicer is reviewing a solution as the foreclosure advances. And what you need to look for is any recent RMA or request for mortgage assistance from the homeowner. There could also be an in-trial payment plan if they got approved for a loan modification, or even maybe an appeal window after a denial that they've received. So what should you do? Well, pause the listing. With the homeowner's permission, call the servicer, ask for the written stance on marketing during review and the current hold dates. Align your timeline with the loan servicers. Get it in writing. If they say marketing jeopardizes review, you step back and support their loss path first. Loss mitigation being. Red flag number 2, no verified payoff, no reinstatement or arrears math. Why is this important? A net sheet built on guesses creates false hope and liability. Unaccounted fees, escrow shortages, advances, HOA liens, municipal fines, all of that can wipe the equity that you plan to market. So what are you going to need? You're going to need a current payoff letter for every lien, a reinstatement quote if they plan to cure, and statements for the taxes, for the insurance, for the HOA, and utilities with balances and penalties. You're going to have to verify everything in writing before you price. Do not set a list price off assumptions or public records alone. You need to update your net model with fee line items and leave a cushion. If the numbers don't clear, listing is not the first move. Red flag number 3, HOA or condo super lien risk or tax sale exposure, and none of those things being quantified. Priority liens can jump ahead of mortgages, add legal fees, and kill closings late in the game. What you need to gather is the HOA estoppel, the ledger, fines, attorney fees, special assessments, any tax certificates, or any delinquency notices. Now, what you're going to have to do is escalate early with the association manager or their attorney, ask for the exact payoff through a date that is certain. Model the true net now, not at escrow crunch time, okay? If the lien stack erases equity, you may have to pivot to a short sale or maybe a different workout path before you promise the market a clean close. Red flag number 4, probate, title clouds, or divorce, all without authority. What do I mean by that? The lack of capacity can actually make your listing voidable, burn days, and trigger disputes. What you need to check for are any letters of administration for an estate, court orders in the divorce, any recorded interest, any judgment liens, or any unrecorded heirs. Get an attorney to check before any signatures are done. If you hear, "We'll fix title later," pause. Confirm who has signing authority and what orders are required. If the seller can't convey clear title, you should not list just yet. Help them solve that authority first, then return to market strategy. Red flag 5, negative equity without a lender consent strategy. A conventional listing fails because you can't deliver clear title without the bank's approval. And then the buyers get fatigued. You have someone lined up. They're not going to wait for the entire process to get done. They're out. That missed opportunity is a properly packaged short sale. What to prepare? A hardship letter, income and expense docs, property condition photos, value support that reflects repairs and market, what we call ARV, after repair value. Route to the short sale path if this is what you're seeing. With the homeowner's consent, alert the servicer, request a short sale package, and then escalate with the appropriate single point of contact, right? Price to the bank's logic. Net recovery after closing costs and credits. You're not comping based on the neighbor, period. Red flag 6, imminent foreclosure sale with no path to cure. Okay, look, MLS exposure does not stop the clock. It can actually create a false safety net for the homeowner thinking that they're going to be okay. But it's your job to confirm if there's a sale date, if there's been an acceleration or demand letter received by the homeowner, if any postponement can actually be possible under current review. You're going to have to guide the homeowner to a HUD certified housing counselor or a foreclosure advocate or even an attorney immediately. With permission, request that a sale hold properly. Okay, document the hardship, pending the assistance, relocation assistance, any buyer or short sale status if that's relevant. If a hold isn't realistic, there's no cure. Listing isn't protection. It's just noise at this point. Your ethical move is to triage for a workout. Or if there's equity and it's real and timelines allow for it, arrange a fast, clean sale with verified funds, typically a cash buyer. Common mistake that we need to talk about, listing to buy time. It feels helpful, but it often hurts. You burn days, you scare off any real buyers, and the homeowner thinks that listing equals protection, and it doesn't. The sale date comes and panic hits. I've actually gotten this phone call before. I've actually spoken to a homeowner on the phone who had a sale date a week after our call, and my realtor's taking care of everything. My realtor said they're going to stop it. Cool. Wished her the best of luck. And I noticed as the days went on, the foreclosure case still had an auction sale date onto it. And when I called the day of, the morning of the auction sale date, I actually watched with my own eyes the property go to auction. And I called the homeowner and I said, so-and-so, I'm not going to use her real name, so-and-so, what happened? You told me the realtor was taking care of it. And she's crying on the phone. She's broken. She's disheartened. She can't even believe that her home went to sale. And right then and there, we ended up meeting that morning. But the point that I'm making, and by the way, this was during the pandemic, so we were actually able to reverse the sale. It's a lot harder to do that today. But so what I tell everyone is try to get ahead of it as best as you can. So if you are a realtor and you're listening to this, please do your homeowner justice. And if there's an auction sale date, don't wait until the last minute when panic hits. Okay, don't do what most do the first time. Look, just tell the truth early. The listing is a tool and it's not a shield. All right, now we need to start making certain decisions, and you have to start with intent. Stay or sell. If stay and income is stable, push for a loan modification or forbearance review first and pause any marketing until the servicer gives a written stance. If sell, move to equity math. If the homeowner is dead set on selling, you have to figure out if equity will clear after all the liens and arrears are accounted for. Then the listing might work. And you have to see if the timelines allow for the listing to work. If there's a deficit, go the short sell path. Okay? Focus on the timeline. If there's no sale date and review is open, support loss mitigation. If a sale date is set soon, confirm whether you can do a hold and if that's realistic. If not, try to pivot. Try to get an expert, foreclosure advocate, an attorney, an immediate cash equity sale if that's even possible. Now, there's also one phone call that you and the homeowner can make that protects you from most complaints, because a lot of homeowners will complain about realtors during the foreclosure process. And that's connecting the homeowner with a HUD certified housing counselor on day one and documenting the referral. You can even connect the homeowner with a foreclosure advocate like Project Homeowner Rescue. If you're a realtor and you have a foreclosure listing that you're working on, a short sale listing that you're working on, and you need some clarity, check out projecthomeownerrescue.com, take a look, book a call. We can help you out. We can handhold the homeowner with you to make your life a lot easier so you can focus on what you do best, and that's being a realtor. Hopefully, in the future, what I'm going to try to do is drop a video with a realtor that I have worked with who was facing that exact situation. She had a listing that was a short sale, and when I spoke to her for the first time, she really had no idea what she was doing or how even the short sale process worked. She thought she did, and when we really sat down with her, explained what to expect, it made her life a whole lot easier. So, document referring the homeowner out. It proves that you led with the homeowner's interest, not with your commission. And it also speeds the servicer responses and clarifies options that you may not even be aware of, which reduces surprises in your transaction file. Now, if you hit a red flag, don't disappear. Redirect, explain the risk plainly, offer the alternative path, set a follow-up date. When the file is ready and the authority is confirmed and the math has been verified, timelines have been aligned, then only then consider the listing. That's how you keep your clients safe and your license clean. Now, let's shift from red flags to better paths, right? Your job is to lead with options that put the homeowner first and give you cleaner files to work with and makes your life easier, right? Start with a HUD certified counseling. Start with reaching out to Project Homeowner Rescue. At the end of the day, what you want to do is speak to someone who understands foreclosure advocacy, someone who can advocate for the homeowner on their behalf during the foreclosure process. Whether you go through the HUD certified route or you reach out to Project Homeowner Rescue, it's free, it's neutral, and servicers respond faster when counselors are involved. When you have a short sale processor, when you have someone who's mitigating for the homeowner, your move is to make the referral on day one. Document the counselor's name, the agency, the phone, and the date. Ask the client to authorize information sharing so updates flow naturally. Next, clarify loan modification versus forbearance. A modification is a permanent change to make the payment affordable for the homeowner. Forbearance is a temporary pause or reduction with a defined repayment plan. You need to confirm in writing whether an application has been submitted, what documents are outstanding, and if there are any trial plan or decision dates that have been set. Log it with your homeowner. Okay, so short sale readiness comes when value is below payoff and hardship is very clear. Treat it like a bank file, not a regular listing. What you need to do is gather a hardship letter, income or an expense summary, a budget summary. You need property photos. You need to highlight any repairs, any damages, and market support that explains a justified discounted value. Remember, you're pricing it to the lender's logic, not really based on comps that you normally do. Now, if you're dealing with a deed in lieu or relocation aid, these are usually last resort exits, but they're cleaner than an auction. So you're going to have to work with the homeowner to confirm any vacancy timing, property condition, and any lender criteria that needs to be asked up front. And also try to ask and document any possible relocation assistance and any deficiency terms from the lender. Do not promise outcomes. Present it as an option to explore with the servicer or with an attorney for your homeowner. Maybe there's equity. So maybe you can do an investor exit with equity, which can work out since time is tight and the net clears all liens. You're going to have to verify proof of funds, earnest money, and a closing timeline. Build a net sheet that includes arrears, HOA, taxes, fees. Only proceed if the numbers satisfy every lien holder and you can cure the debt in order to move on. Now, remember this point. The alternatives aren't delays. They're just different lanes that you can work in. Your job is essentially directing traffic so the homeowner ends up in the right lane so that their goal and timeline lines up. Use a standard referral script, set a 48 to 72 hour check-in, keep control of the follow-up cadence. When done right, these paths will reduce surprises and protect the homeowner and keep your name off any complaint list that there is. Here's a simple compliance checklist that protects you as the realtor on this foreclosure transaction file. Document intent, document hardship, document any timelines, date every single call, every single email that goes out, get written payoffs, reinstatement quotes, HOA estoppels, any sale dates before any pricing kicks in or any pricing that you decide to do with the homeowner. You're going to have to confirm, are you going to need a foreclosure advocate? Are you going to need someone like Project Homeowner Rescue to step in? Are you going to need a real estate attorney, a bankruptcy attorney? Log names, numbers, any authority that needs to be discussed. You have to acknowledge the entire foreclosure context. You have to acknowledge any lien risk. You have to acknowledge any third-party approvals that you may need to get. You need to state any contingencies very, very plainly to the homeowner. Don't promise. There are no guaranteed approvals. There are no guaranteed anything in a foreclosure case. Reconfirm figures before going live and again before accepting any offers. If you're working with a homeowner and there's an active loss mitigation, align with the loan servicer on timelines. When in doubt, pause, refer, and note why. Now, we talked about a lot, red flags, different alternatives that the realtor can take. But look, everything that I'm presenting to you are just, it's a line that we at Project Homeowner Rescue won't cross, and it's a line that the realtors that we work with won't cross. So, the one thing that I want to leave you with as a realtor who is focused on helping out a homeowner who has a foreclosure case file is simple. Lead with care. Verify the math. Refuse any listings that harm the homeowner. Refer first, document everything, and move only when you and the homeowner are ready and have all the math figured out. At the end of the day, your job is to keep the homeowner safe and protect your license as a realtor. As a realtor who's helping a homeowner in a foreclosure transaction, you have the ability to book a call with us at Project Homeowner Rescue and to discuss the case file that you're working on, the transaction file that you're working on. It'll give you the ability to figure out where you need to navigate. And at worst, you're walking away with solid advice. Even if we're not working together, at least we can give you some direction on what you can do with the homeowner if you're working with this sort of file. I hope this video helps you out. I hope this video protects you and your license and your homeowner all at the same time.